What's going on, everyone? So, Kelley Oubre Jr. He might be on his way out of Philadelphia based on recent comments that he made. So, let's read it. Let's dive into it. So, Kelley Oubre says he doesn't feel the love from Philadelphia fans anymore and claimed he'd cook anyone who thinks he's garbage. And this is from Kelley Oubre himself. He posted this himself. I love Philly, but the love doesn't seem to be reciprocated. What happened to this place? And for those saying I'm garbage because my 3% went down, still put up numbers and I'd still cook you. I played through finger surgeries on my left hand, thumb, and pinky for 3 years, but still put my soul into this. Expleted. That's one thing only God can take from me. I hope to see y'all soon. Godspeed. So, Kelley Oubre's even over there going like, hey, love y'all. Y'all don't love me. How come they don't want me, man? Right? So, Kelley Oubre, let's talk about it. Right? I wouldn't mind Kelley Oubre at all. He's still on the right side of 30. He's 29. He'll be 30 actually in December. So basically 2 months into the season. Gives you that two-way, 3-and-D style wing. Got good size, slot in 2 through 4 for you. A guy that, I mean, look, he's had seasons where he's put up an average 20 points. Last season, he was still 15, 6, and 2 on 40% or 47% from the floor. Talk about a guy 6'8" in size that can, again, slot in literally 2 through 4 for you. So that versatility, that defense, that switchability, guy that you can bring off the bench, maybe even start for you. I wouldn't hate him starting. It's not like my ideal kind of starting wing for us, but I just think defensively he could give you more than what Rui Hachimura could give you. It's just his shooting, his 3-point shooting. What can his 3-point shooting do? But he's also making cheap enough money to where it'd actually be easy to go trade for him. He's making $8.3 million. Couple things though is Lakers, right? They don't have like a $8-9 million contract, so you'd have to do something like a Gabe Vincent or like a Maxi Kleber, but then like what do they want? Also, there would be some sense in Philadelphia maybe getting off of Kelley Oubre, especially if they kind of continue to keep Quentin Grimes. I would love, in a perfect world, I'd love to see the Lakers pull something off where you get like a Kelley Oubre and a Quentin Grimes, right? To where now you really bolster your bench. I mean, like I said, you could start Oubre at your 3 and have Quentin Grimes as like a bucket getter scorer off the bench. That could be pretty nice. Obviously, how much money does Quentin Grimes want? What would you have to give up to get both of those guys? But the Lakers did say that they are willing to take on long-term salary if it's the right salary. Maybe you're doing like a prove-it deal with Quentin Grimes. But Kelley Oubre, he is an expiring contract, and he is a guy that kind of solves what the Lakers need. That athleticism, the defense, the shooting. He can self-create, so he can score the basketball. He's kind of like, he's like a tier below like an Andrew Wiggins. Like I like Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins is better. I'd prefer Andrew Wiggins over a Kelley Oubre, but Kelley Oubre is a guy that has shown in recent years that he can go and kind of play that role for a team. Like I said, the problem is his 3-point percentage drop, but he's never been like a lights out 3-point shooter, which is what I think is really odd. So he's a career 32.5% 3-point shooter. His best 3-point shooting season was 35.2%, and that was with Phoenix on 5.5 attempts. He is, since that, been 31.6%, 34.5% on 7.3 attempts. So round up, be nice, say 35%. 32%, 31.1%, and then 29.3%. So he was I don't know what he's talking about because my 3-point percentage dropped because he was he wasn't great shooting the 3 ball the year before in Philadelphia, right? He was 31.1%. Right, he dropped from 31.1% to 29%. Right, 29 is abysmal, but 31 isn't like much better. Right, like if he could be around 35, 36%, playing alongside LeBron, playing alongside Luka, playing alongside Austin Reeves, that could really help. Right, he's a guy that can get buckets though. You look at literally for his career, he's a 13.3 point a game scorer, but he hasn't scored less than 15 points per game since the 2018-2019 season with Washington. Right? So he's averaged 17, 19, 15, 15, 20, 15 and a half, and then 15. So the guy's basically the last you know, what, 8 years, basically been 15 on average, 15 point a game score. So, if he could be that for a team like the Lakers, he's doing it on 12.4 attempts, which is, roughly what he would probably get around, 12 attempts, 10 to 12 attempts. Like you look at like Rui, for example, like Rui's averaging about 10 attempts per game. So, Kelley Oubre, if he's getting around that, let's say because would he average 15 with, DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves? Probably not. But if he could be like 13 like Rui is, I would take that. If he could give you basically at or close, like let's say it's even like 11. Say he's like 11 points per game, but he's giving you more athleticism, more rebounding, more defense. I like that. I still like, I ideally would like him to be a guy that comes off the bench for us, right? And just give us some wing depth off the bench. And then Lakers could still go solve their starting 3 and D. So, could you go get an Andrew Wiggins and then, whatever, you're trading Rui and doing all that stuff. So Wiggins just kind of taking the Rui spot. And then you have Kelley Oubre who can slot in, like I mentioned, 2 through 4 for you. And, just give you that lineup versatility, that lineup flexibility. Ideally, I'd like something like that. It could be a lob threat, good slasher cutter, playing alongside Luka Doncic. So, a guy that can play and move without the basketball, a guy that can self-create and just go get buckets, right? You can operate and score around that 15-foot range. Problem is, again, just his shooting or lack thereof. But again, last year, Philadelphia was abysmal. On top of them being abysmal, he like you said, he was dealing with finger injuries and needed surgery and all that stuff. But like, he also didn't have any of like the players around. And you also saw like even his defensive rating really hurt. So last season, he was at 117.7 defensive rating, which is by far the worst of his career. The previous worst was 115.3, and that was with Charlotte. Right? You look at his first year in Philadelphia, it was a 114.2. So, like, again, that's a guy that I do think could really kind of help with the defense side of the ball and just being that athlete and athleticism. Right? To put that in perspective, last season, Rui Hachimura was a 116.7. Right? Rui Hachimura's best defensive rating is a 114.6. So Rui Hachimura's best defensive rating is basically his previous worst. Right, so that tells you the gap defensively between Kelley Oubre and Kelley Oubre has a 112 career defensive rating. So again, gives you better defensive side of the basketball, gives you better athleticism, versatility, defending, again, 1 through 4 for you. So personally, and again, he's young enough, and if he plays well, he's a guy that you can give a new deal to. You're probably not paying. Again, he's playing $8 million. He's getting $8 million a year already. So what? Let's say you bump him up to 10 with the new CBA. Maybe you could argue $8 million. So let's say he does really well for you, sticks around, he's a rotation guy. You sign him like a new 2-year, $20 million contract or something like that. I think that's great. I think he's a guy that could be a difference maker for this Lakers team. I think he gives you a lot of what this Lakers team needs, gives you athleticism. He's still on the younger side, but he's veteran enough to have the experience to impact the game and play a big role. And he's had playoff experience and done X, Y, and Z for teams. And so I think if you can have Kelley Oubre come in, play that role for you. Again, I don't really necessarily like him or see him ideally as our starting 3. You can make the argument it'd be the best option right now. So if you were to trade for Kelley Oubre, I'd probably start him right now, but I would still be active in trying to find a Andrew Wiggins or something like that. However, if you were to get a Kelley Oubre, that could potentially make it easier to get an Andrew Wiggins, because like I've talked about in other videos, right, if you have that guy, even if it's not ideal, even if it's not the guy you necessarily want, you at least have that guy that now you can use as a leverage point, now that you can use as a talking point, and now you can go into those conversations. Well, right now, it's like, hey, we really need an Andrew Wiggins. Right? But if Kelley Oubre is playing really well for you and he's doing the things that you need him to do and kind of like an Andrew Wiggins light for you, It's like, hey, we don't need Andrew Wiggins. We're fine and comfortable with Kelley Oubre. He's killing it. He's doing his part. He's playing his role. But we would like, or we want, an Andrew Wiggins to really kind of bolster this team. And now you just kind of have that leverage point to where you might be able to negotiate that better. Or maybe, if Kelley Oubre really is that good, like let's say he shoots 37% from three-point range, which isn't crazy, right? Say he shoots 37% from three-point range on like 4 or 5 attempts. Playing defense, doing everything that you need. Well, then maybe you can go look elsewhere to do other kind of like upgrade the bench or upgrade the backup center or kind of find those other needs. Or maybe you are looking for upgrades at the wing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the starter. Maybe Kelley Oubre's holding down the starting position. And that might also incentivize Kelley Oubre to want to go to a team like the Lakers of like, dude, I can go there, I can start and be a big component, be a big part, because he's probably not starting on the Sixers, right? So he's going to be a bench role player anyway. And I just think you could do a lot of the same stuff with the Lakers. I've liked Kelley Oubre for years. I'd be more than happy to have Kelley Oubre. I've talked about Kelley Oubre in past years about maybe bringing him on. And you look, to go over kind of the stats real quick in general. I know I went over the 3-point line, but 60 games played, 34.6 minutes per game, 12.4 field goal attempts per game, shot 47% from the floor. Like I said, from 3-point range, he shot on 4 attempts, 29.3%. Awful. Abysmal. But 2-point range on 8.3 attempts, shot 55.5%. He's a bucket getter. He can shoot in that mid-range. He can go and generate some offense for himself. EFG of 51.8%, which is actually better than the last 2 seasons. And then free throw percentage is 75.1%. He's a career 75.1%, so he's right at his average on 3.1 attempts. He averaged 6.1 rebounds, which he's a better rebounder than Rui. Like, he's a career 5 rebound a game guy, but you also got to think, like, he's played, kind of all like the small forward role most of his career. Also, Rui played power forward, things like that. So I think Kelley Oubre is just better. He's just more athletic, so he's better at just chasing down those loose balls, stuff like that. But 6.1 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 1.5 steals, half a block, and 15.1 points per game. So again, guy, if you give minutes to, I'm not saying he's going to be a 15-6-2 guy with the Lakers, because I don't know, how many minutes does he play, type of role does he play, so on and so forth. But if he's a guy that can play, 25 minutes a night for the Lakers, I could see him being, a 13, let's say 11 to 13 point a game guy, better defense. I could still see him giving you 1.5 steals, giving you a half a block a game. I think he would make the Lakers better on the defense side of the ball while still maintaining the offensive level that you need and are looking for. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.